Vesuvius has been inhabited for so long that every one of its eruptions of the past 1,000 years has been meticulously documented. Also, the volcano sits in an earthquake hotspot. This region experiences more tremors than anywhere else in Europe, activity that has generated further detailed records for geologists to study. When all this information was analyzed together, a statistically proven link was found. The evidence for this relationship is convincing at Vesuvius. But the idea that earthquakes can cause eruptions is still hotly debated worldwide.
The idea that earthquakes and volcanoes are related is not a new idea. In fact, it was Charles Darwin on his journeys to South America in the 1800s who first proposed that there could be a link between an earthquake and a volcano he saw erupt a few days afterwards.
Darwin was in Chile in 1835 when an earthquake struck. Days later, he witnessed the eruption of a chain of volcanoes. To him, the relationship was clear that one was the cause of the other.
And really since then, over the last couple of hundred years, geologists have debated back and forward how real, if you like, this cause and effect relationship is between earthquakes and volcanoes.
Despite continuing controversy, many scientists do believe that the next huge eruption from Vesuvius may be triggered by an earthquake. The theory suggests that pressure waves rippling through the Earth's crust can squeeze the magma chamber.
If you imagine that this bottle represents a magma chamber down beneath a volcano, and that the water inside the bottle here is lava or magma, then as the earthquake pressure wave moves towards the magma chamber, it interacts with the walls and starts to squash the chamber. Chamber walls sort of pinch together like this, and it drives the magma up to the surface.
But even then, the eruption may be delayed. Historical records suggest the volcano may not stir for months or even years after an earthquake has passed.
There could be some good reasons for that. I mean, one might be that the earthquake builds up pressure slowly inside the volcano.
So the effect of the pressure waves are not immediate.
Or that you need more than one earthquake. You might need multiple earthquakes that progressively increase the pressure inside the volcano.
Each wave squashing the chamber a little more each time.
Until the last earthquake that comes along is effectively, the straw that breaks the camel's back, and it's that earthquake that pushes the system into critical instability and makes an eruption.
After thousands of years of study, scientists still do not fully understand what causes an eruption.
So an important thing about Vesuvius is that if we can make sense of this data set that we've got for this volcano, if we can come up with a new model for earthquake-related volcanic eruptions, Vesuvius could be the world leader in helping us to understand how other volcanoes on the planet might work in a similar way.
If earthquakes are the trigger for Vesuvius, then it is possible that the next eruption may already have started. Two massive earthquakes recently sent shockwaves racing through the ground near the volcano. In 2002, the first quake struck just 40 miles northeast of Vesuvius. This was a magnitude 5.4 tremor. 30 people died and thousands were evacuated from their homes. Even more recently, in 2009, a magnitude 6.3 earthquake killed more than 300 people in the town of L'Aquila, 60 miles north of the volcano. This was the worst such disaster in Italy for 30 years. The concern is that the shock waves from these quakes may already have shaken Vesuvius's monstrous magma chamber and triggered the start of a new eruption. The clues are adding up in the race to predict when Vesuvius will erupt. Scientists have gathered two startling pieces of evidence. A huge magma bomb beneath Vesuvius proves the volcano is primed with the fuel for a massive explosion. The historical pattern of earthquakes and eruptions suggests the trigger may already have been pulled. Each new piece of information takes scientists one step forward in their quest to foretell when Vesuvius may blow. But even predicting the eruption may not be enough to save the lives of the 3 million citizens of Naples. Recent discoveries around Vesuvius reveal that if a blast like the one in 1780 BC occurred today, it would reach the heart of Naples, a metropolitan area with 3 million people.
Vesuvius is an active volcano and it's also explosive, so it's quite dangerous. In addition to that, there is a very large population living around Vesuvius, so also the risk is very high.
Studies of the surrounding landscape suggest that the volcano's most lethal force, the pyroclastic flow, would not only reach Naples, but would be concentrated down in the direction of the city. The high cliffs of Somma partly surround the cone of Vesuvius. If there was an eruption, these walls would act like a funnel, channeling the majority of the boiling volcanic debris to the west, straight towards the city. Vesuvius is like a loaded gun pointed right at Naples.
The new evidence that we have is really important. It points to one very critical point, that Naples is not safe. This area could be hit, it could be targeted.
This new information, in addition to the discovery of volcanic deposits in the heart of Naples, has spurred the city to review its 2001 evacuation plan.
The evacuation plan currently only deals with those people who live on the slopes of Vesuvius in the villages and towns around. That's about 600,000 people. The city of Naples, here where I am now, isn't presently included in the evacuation plan, and of course that's where the majority of people live.
Geologists are key to putting new evacuation plans in place. But planning is the easy part. Knowing when to put those plans into action is the most difficult call to make.
The decision of evacuating or not and when to evacuate is probably the $1 million question.
If scientists seem to exaggerate a threat and recommend an evacuation, the next time people might not pay attention.
If they're evacuated too late, the price might be thousands of people dead.
It's a dilemma faced by volcanologists around the world. Mount Vesuvius is only one of 3,000 active volcanoes. 9% of the world's population, some 450 million people, live in areas threatened by a volcanic blast. Mount Rainier stands 54 miles from the 500,000 residents of Seattle. Popocatépetl is located 44 miles from 9 million people in Mexico City. And Mount Fuji stands 60 miles from the 12 million citizens of Tokyo. On average, 3 volcanoes a year erupt, causing deaths and injuries. The hope is that lessons learned from Vesuvius will one day help protect people around the globe. Mount Vesuvius still has many secrets to tell. But so far, geologists have put together a disturbing portrait of what many call the world's most dangerous volcano. Pumice from the ruins of Pompeii, evidence of the explosive power of Vesuvius. Charred human bones demonstrate the 900-degree temperatures of the mountain's pyroclastic flows. Ancient layers of ash in downtown Naples prove that Vesuvius has the power to engulf the city. And new seismic investigations reveal a 250-square-mile magma chamber sitting under the volcano. It's a ticking time bomb. Geologists who study how the Earth was made believe that it's a geological certainty that Naples will one day feel the wrath of the volcano. Even now, Vesuvius is armed and waiting for its next eruption. Dynamic proof that the Earth is never at rest.